Welcome to Ballantyne Law, clear, practical legal advice that works. Well, ownership's not an award, it should be an investment decision. The question shouldn't be, do they deserve this? The question should be, would I go into business with this person if I was starting out today? Today I've got Sidnee Jennings with me, and we're talking about some of the things that business owners should think about before they proceed with selling equity or giving equity to a key employee. A lot of people focus on the opportunity and don't always consider the risks associated with that. Today we're going to discuss some of the legal issues that arise in those circumstances.
Importantly, being a great owner is not the same as being a great employee.
So why do business owners start thinking about bringing key staff members in as owners?
There can be lots of reasons. I think a key one sometimes is retaining key staff and valuable staff. I think sometimes motivation. Obviously, an employee who knows they're possibly going to get a piece of the pie is motivated to work harder, moving some of the risk or sharing some of the risk that they're already holding solely.
I think it also gives the owner the start of an exit strategy.
Succession.
So a lot of business owners get in trouble because of the point that you made, that being a great employee doesn't necessarily mean you're a great owner.
Some people are great technicians, some people are good managers or teachers, and some people are rainmakers.
Finders, minders and grinders.
Yeah, exactly. Ownership involves financial risk, strategic decision making, managing cash flow, personal guarantees, so a significant change to your risk profile, difficult staffing decisions and long-term planning. And for a lot of employees becoming owners, some of these things are matters they've never really had to consider before.
So being an owner is not all rainbows and unicorns.
It doesn't sound like it, no.
What are the questions that owners should be thinking about before offering equity to key employees?
I think big picture first, does this person have principles that align with mine? But more specifically, do they think commercially? Are they bringing work into the business? Can they make difficult decisions? Will they still be here in 5 years? And what does the next 5 to 10 years of their life possibly look like? And would I willingly start a business with this person today?
Ownership is not necessarily the only path to secure or retain key employees. There's other options available. What might some of those look like?
Yeah, like if you answer these questions we've just discussed and you find that maybe ownership is not the answer to this employee, you could consider employee share schemes, employee bonus schemes, incentive plans, or pathways to partnership, perhaps setting out some key professional goals that if they meet, or, milestones for bringing in work that if they meet, then there's an option there for partnership. Oh, and also, just having a frank discussion with an employee about how impressed you are with them, what would make them feel valued at the firm. Sometimes a title change, a rejigging of teams, passing on more or less responsibility depending on how that conversation goes can be enough to make an employee feel valued and happy to stick around. Some employees don't want the responsibility of ownership. So you've obviously done some deals like this for professionals in the past. What mistakes do you see most often?
I think going too early is probably one of the mistakes. You need to typically establish a relationship with the person and identify a pathway, as you said earlier, forward to increase responsibility. See that they can manage people, see that they can make the tough decisions that sometimes need to be made as an owner. Not having a good agreement in place, particularly for sole owners moving into a structure where they might have been in business for some period and see themselves as the final word on everything, introducing someone, even if they're not a 50-50, if there's some sort of minority shareholder, having a structured shareholders or partnership or unit holders agreement in place so that everyone is clear on what rights and obligations are is important. Not having that succession plan, the exit strategy for the party who is issuing or selling down their interest, identifying we're going to bring some other people in over this time frame, I'm going to increase your ownership over this time frame. Having a plan in place is a good idea. Not considering those other options you talked about earlier through profit sharing or incentive or bonus arrangements, and just saying, here, have some equity in the business is not necessarily a good idea.
All owners should also always make sure that person coming in is well informed and perhaps gets their own legal advice along
absolutely.
the way.
I think opening the books, particularly where there's a sale going on, it's not just an issue for no consideration, making sure that the financials are understood by both parties and what the expectations are for further contributions might be. Well, no one likes talking about divorce on their wedding day. day, but at what time should business partners or new owners be talking about the exit strategy?
As early as possible, you should be considering the exit strategy. Certainly as an employee coming on board, you might like to consider what the legacy owner's plan is. Do they intend to offer equity to other employees, or do they intend for you to ultimately end up taking over? Perhaps what that owner's own plan looks like, own estate looks like. Will you ultimately end up owning this business with your business partner's spouse? You need to consider worst case scenario. What happens if your business partner dies or can't work at all anymore, or, you know, anything can happen in someone's life that changes their attitude
making plans
towards work. Yeah. Performance issues. How are we going to handle performance issues when we're both the boss?
If there was one thing that you would tell business owners who are considering this kind of arrangement with key staff, what would that be?
It's not enough. In fact, don't consider whether this person is your best employee. Consider whether they are someone that you want to work with and that you think would be as a fellow owner. Yeah.
For more legal insights, subscribe or visit ballantynelaw.com. We're here to help.